All right, guys, welcome back. I am closing up a week of wearing another golden tuna. This is one of the original ones, or very early ones, I'll say. It's from 1981. It is a 7549 7009, and these were pretty early on in the lineage of Seiko tunas. This is when they were still branded as Seiko Quartz. And this was a 600-meter tuna back then versus 1,000, which is what there are now or later in the lineage. Um, Very cool watch. I was pleasantly surprised. They are smaller physically than just a tiny bit, but they also wear a little bit different. I don't know why. There's definitely a very vintage vibe with this one. In this case, it's got these really cool um, outlines on the loom plots at 12, 9, and 6. It has, it doesn't have applied indices. They're printed on. Neither is the Seiko logo. But what's cool about this generation is it had a bi-directional bezel, which was really cool. I didn't know that, and I found something out. I found out about it when I took it apart to fix the bezel gasket. Not only is it bidirectional, but it's got a ball bearing system. So there's no click spring like most Seikos have. It actually has two ball bearings, which is very much like Rolex and Tudor. And I gotta wonder, why did Seiko move away from that? Now I understand the bi-directional part of it, because obviously if it's a ISO certified dive watch, your time can only count down, so that way you don't run out of air underwater. But they could have kept that ball bearing system, and I mean the action is insane. It is very reminiscent of a Tudor Black Bay, close to a Tudor Pelagos, but here it is. In fact, it might be more mechanical. It might be more Damasco or Zin, and it's very tool-like. So it goes one way, when it goes the other way too, and you get perfect 120 clicks, which is very, very cool. So that was really cool. I'm a huge bezel action and noise geek, and I love that about it. It did need a new gasket, so I put one in to help out the friend of mine who loaned these in for a review, as a sort of a thank you. Killer watch. Unfortunately, being that it's from 1981, all the loom is pretty much gone. I had to use some really, really intense sunlight to get the hands to glow. Just the hour and the minute hand glows. The loom pip on the second is pretty much done. But you know what? Being a vintage watch, this watch is older than me. And it's working beautifully well. Everything lines up. It might be the parallaxis effect, but I'm looking at it right now. You can tell we're just about perfect in terms of the second hand, touching everything. Honestly, this is a collector piece. For me personally, I would not wear a watch like this. I'm not too interested in taking care of my watches. I like to beat up and bang my watches, and being that this is now an older slash vintage watch, I did have to be very careful during the week when I wore it. Comparing it to my most of the time daily Emperor, this one takes hits, knocks. It's already been scratched up a few times working in some of the stuff I do. But yeah, definitely cool watch. I really wish they pushed the technology for the ball bearings onto the newer ones. The click spring is good, but the action is, completely different when you have a spring. Not to say it's not bad, but it's different. And this one's very reminiscent. I mean, it feels different, but it's like, perfectly regimented indices. Like, you can't skip faster. I mean, you could, but you're going over a ball that's detenting on the bottom of this thing. So great watch. It is cool, but again, it's for more of the vintage Seiko collectors. You have to be a hardcore Seiko tuna fan to own tunas, and then you got to be a fanatic to own the vintage stuff. So once again, I wanted to thank my good friend who loaned this out for me to review for the week. I appreciate you, and thank you for your generosity. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you would be interested in more vintage Seikos or more vintage Seiko tunas. And would this be a watch that could survive daily wear and tear, or is it a watch that needs to be babied and kept in the collection? Put your comments below. And as always, like and subscribe to my channel, guys. It really helps me and motivates me to do more. So until next time, cheers.